Hello, everyone. I feel like this is nice, calming, soothing music. So we're gonna
It is.
isn't it perfect for our topic today, Deb?
It is.
Everybody, those of you that don't know, this is the magnificent Deb Day. Welcome, Deb. Thank you for doing this with me. I'm so excited to have this discussion. All right,
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna stop.
having me.
I'm gonna stop the music because it's distracting me. All right, our topic today is why does worrying suck? All right, so we're gonna get into that for sure. But before we do, Deb, would you just spend whatever 30 seconds a minute and just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, so people can get to know you?
Yes. Hi, my name is Deb Day, and I'm known as the Build on Your Magnificence coach. Why build on your magnificence? Because underneath all the stress, all the anxiety, and all the worry, you are magnificent. And you should live with a life of a magnificent soul. It's your birthright. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's you in a nutshell. Okay, so we're gonna dive in and we're gonna talk about worrying. The first question I want to ask is, why does worrying suck? Like, why is it bad for us? Why is it a problem?
We spend so many hours a day thinking. Most of our thoughts are not our own. Worry is brain trickery. Oh, goodness.
Explain, because my husband, those of you that know, has severe anxiety and he's going through some things, and worrying is one of the things that is problematic for him. So I've heard him say something similar. So what do you mean by brain trickery?
Well, what I mean by brain trickery is that I believe, and medical research has shown, that when you are having thoughts, or your thoughts are having you, because that's my favorite way to look at it, your thoughts are already there. They're automatically generating. This is when your nervous system is on high alert, right? The thoughts are just playing out like a record player that just gets put on play without your control, without you really knowing. And it's when you check in and you start listening to what record is playing. Do you really understand what you're thinking? Those thoughts are usually not thoughts you've put there. They're
Right.
thoughts that are automatically already always playing in the background. And those are pre-wired, mostly from old identifying wounds and experiences that no longer serve you, but were there to protect at some point. And so, what happens when you are worrying is you notice these thoughts and you panic. You think it's all about you doing it to yourself. You think these are real, these thoughts. Thoughts are not real. That's the brain trickery.
Got it.
So when you are thinking these things and they're disturbing thoughts or intrusive thoughts, because that's possible, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it goes on and on and on, you think you should follow your gut instincts and do everything you can to stop these thoughts. And what we have learned is that anxiety and chronic anxiety, for example, what really helps with that is the rule of opposites. And to manage through it is counterintuitive. So that if you are very worried about something and your heart is beating and you're excited and you're frantic and you're excited because you just don't know what to do about the thing, and you are starting to need to take a breath and you can't breathe and you can't breathe. The opposite, exhale, is what you need to be doing Not
Yeah.
not take a breath, but to
Blow it out.
blow it out. For example, when your dog runs away from you, gets away on the leash, you know that dog's not gonna come back if you start chasing that dog, is it?
No, you need treats.
But if you say, "Bye," and you walk away from that dog's gonna come back and start running toward you. You do the opposite. Do
Do
the
the
counterintuitive thing. So, you know, people get tricked by this chronic anxiety, and people feel like they have to, calm down, and, they struggle to protect themselves from feeling it again. And the truth is that is the opposite of
Yeah.
what you need to be doing. And nobody teaches this except
No.
there is this guy that I came across who does, and we will share a link
Yeah.
below when we're finished with our call. There is someone out there, Dr. Carbonell, who is the author of The Key to Overcoming Anxiety, Panic, and Worry, who understands very specifically what this chronic anxiety disorder is all about and how to resolve people's constant chronic disorders. And by the way, it's really common. About 40 million Americans struggle with an anxiety disorder, and most are under the mistaken belief that they're just, one of many, that this is new, this is just them. This is just them. I'm crazy. I'm freaking out. I'm a worrywart. I'm a maniac. I'm panicking. I'm insane. No, not at all. Because once this hardwiring, that brain trickery has started, that's a nervous system reactivation
Yeah.
that you do not have total control over. And there are great techniques that can help. And the one that I shared about breathing out is one technique. There's also a method called stop, which basically means stop and do something other than what you're doing to surprise your
Mhm.
brain. It basically presses the pause button on your thoughts. Because we all know that your thoughts create your emotions, which are energy and motion. That energy that's in your body, you can't just get rid of or decide to not look at or ignore. It's there. It definitely requires attention, but then it dictates how you behave and how you act next. So, of course, coaching and habit change is really a valuable tool and useful for this. And that's why I created the Worrier to Warrior program, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
I want to tell you there are other challenges.
Before we get into that, I want to bring in a couple of comments, and
Yeah.
this one from Leah, and I think this gets to kind of what we were talking about. Worrying causes, or maybe it's not dealing with worrying, causes all sorts of other health problems. That's why continuing to allow yourself to worry is not good for us. It's not good for
No,
us.
it's not.
So, what's the correlation between this worrying and all of these other health challenges?
Well, we address the issues of the nervous system, for example, and we start to take a look at what kind of depletion is happening with your hormones when you're in that anxiety mode and it's a chronic state. So, your nervous system is consisting of your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic is your fight and flight, because you're sympathizing with the thing that you're worrying about, right? That's an easy
Yeah.
way to remember. Your parasympathetic is your relaxed state, which is when you should eat. The impact that it makes on your body is tremendous. It affects every organ, every aspect of every cell in your body because it triggers a hormonal response when you're in that fight or flight mode, and it releases cortisol
Mm-hmm.
and it releases adrenaline. Often people end up with autoimmune deficiencies and autoimmune diseases, and we don't know if it's a chicken or egg, if it's the
Mm,
autoimmune happened first and then the anxiety, or the anxiety triggered the autoimmune, but there is evidence for both.
got it.
Regardless, it wreaks havoc on your body. It takes a toll. How do I know? I lived it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sudden
I'm
shock.
living it with it right now with my husband, and I see the impact that it has. So
Yes.
it's not good.
Sudden shock or chronic um, negative or challenging experience, and it's chronic, create the same effects. It can make your hair fall out. It can stop you from being able to digest your food. It can cause things like psoriasis. It can burn out your adrenals. It can drain your energy. It can leave you depleted. It can take away your desires to do anything and everything. It can wear down your muscles and the muscle tissue, and it can help if you can break the cycle, but you can see how debilitating it can
Yes.
become ultimately,
Now,
right?
I know we're gonna talk about ways to do that, but before we do, let's talk just for a small second. People
Yes.
who worry about going live. They may not have chronic worry, but even just worrying about all of the things that could go wrong and might go wrong, and what if this and what if that, and I can't do this and all of that, that's still worrying and it's still not healthy for us. Yes? So there's still an impact even in that lighter kind of worry. Yes?
Yes. And sometimes visualization
Mm,
is the most powerful, influential tool. And it's the one that I use most frequently because I find that if I could sit quietly in a space without noise, and when it comes to going live, think about what my intention is.
mhm.
My intention is going to come out of this vision for who's going to listen to my video? What am I going to be able to share that's going to be helpful? Why wouldn't I want to share that with them? Assume that they're going to find me when I think about what I want to share next, because this is important for them to know. A, they're not alone. B, suffering, and also suffering in silence and the isolation we've all experienced over the past 3 years plus, because once you get into a habit, you stay in it, isolation.
Yeah.
Um, it's very debilitating. And so visualizing the positive outcome of that video is what helps me do the video in the first place, and also helps get me into the right mindset for the attitude I wanna have on me when I'm
Yeah.
sharing it. Like, "Hey, this is really important. I would love for you to know about this because it matters to my heart that everyone is not suffering and struggling with this particular thing."
Right. It makes me think. I often tell people, right, get everything ready to go live. Get your your title in, your description in, be in the right place, and then stop, because we tend to just run. Got to get this done, get this done, get this right, get my lighting right, get my notes up, and we're in that state, and that's not a healthy
Exactly.
state to be in. So get all that done, and then stop. Perfect,
Down.
perfect. Yeah, and get to a place of that calmness before you start. You decide when you click that button. Oh, you got some oil for us? Yes, which one
We
is it?
also sometimes will use a little bit of lavender oil.
Mm,
Sometimes we'll use some adaptive spray. I don't even know if they're making the spray right now, but I
yeah,
use adaptive, and I find that even occasionally the peppermint helps to just revitalize me if I'm feeling like blah. The peppermint's like,
yeah,
I need to do this.
I like this one. I like balance. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, balance.
Balance is excellent too.
It's always going into my diffuser all day, every day. Another one that I really like is cheer. I got so many I could talk about. I'm sure you could do. Okay, let's do this. Let's switch now into.
So we agree oils are helpful.
Oils are so helpful. So helpful.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, how do you, if anybody's watching, whether you're watching live or watching on replay, and this resonates with you, what everybody wants to know is, okay, so what do I do? Now you've given us one technique, which is the right, blow it out, and to do the opposite, to get out and move. Is there anything else we can do to start to stop this worrying? I mean, I honestly, I think some of the first step is to know that it's brain trickery. Like that helps me to just be like, brain trickery. But what else can we do?
Take out a piece of paper and start writing the opposite of what your thoughts are.
Oh, so if the thought is telling me something bad, write the positive of it.
Yes. And let it play out and continue to write like a stream of consciousness. Let it play out and continue to write. One day, a while back, I noticed that I was having a rough day and I was listening to my chatter in my head. And the thoughts that I was having were pretty upsetting and pretty sad. And I started hearing those thoughts were saying things like, you don't know. What makes you think you know? Who's going to believe you? You're this and you're that and you're this and you're that. And it was just this ugly stream of consciousness, bunch of thoughts. And I'm like, where did this come from? How sad. And I felt like some compassion and sadness for myself in the moment. But then I went home because this was happening in the car. I went home and I took out a piece of paper and I checked in again and I started writing down all the opposites.
Wow.
And before I knew it, I realized, yep, this is trickery. Yep, this is what it feels like. And it's my power and my right to retrain my brain. I'm going to trick it back. I am my own best friend. And it is not semantics. It's heartfelt, absolute commitment to believe that it's possible, that you can use every tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Those are 2.
Okay.
In addition to the oils, which are 3.
Yeah.
But also having a positive mindset to kind of overcome the negative mindset. You can couch it in. You can say, thank you for saying that. Thank you for sharing that. Because obviously I'm up to something that you don't feel safe with, but I'm good. I got this. I am. And that's when sometimes affirmations help for people as well. So I'm a firm believer on stop, exhale, use oils, use breathing techniques like the 5-5-7 breath or the, there's a million of them.
4-7-4-8, whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of different breaths that will actually immediately shift your nervous system on the spot. If you're a Buddhist and you chanting is the best thing you could be doing for yourself in the moment. The chanting will shift your sympathetic nervous system into parasympathetic after just a couple of minutes of chanting.
I also read
happens like this.
Yeah, I also read humming. So if you're not a chanter, if you just hum to your favorite song, that the humming over the singing, humming does the same thing. That's so cool.
There's a reason for that.
What is it?
The humming actually helps connect to your vagus nerve.
Okay.
And the vagus nerve is the biggest nerve in the body. And it starts at the brain and goes to every organ system. It is the nerve that people are reprogramming when they do the cold dive into the water or the cold showers.
Yeah.
It works as well, and it works tremendously. People do that for all kinds of health purposes, but anxiety could possibly be supported with the reset of that nerve as well.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for all of these tips. If anybody's got questions for Deb, please drop them in the comments. I see a lot of really good supporting stuff. Deb and I will come back and reply to your comments after this. What I want to do now, Deb, is just shift, because you've got a thing that you do from worrier to warrior. Tell us a little bit about that.
Worrier to warrior became my, it's like, what is the one thing that I have to teach people that is on my mind and on my heart right now? It's who isn't worrying. So I was doing yoga as well, and just going from being in that space of worrying all the time. And, we worry about things, 90% of which would never happen anyway, right?
Right.
So it's such a wasted energy and a drain. And I thought, what are all the things that are happening when you're worrying? And how can you shift that from like worrying to like the warrior state? And how can you come up with your like power move?
Yeah.
And how can you do things to get into your body physically that helps you shift out of worry and into warrior? And so my program is a 5-day challenge. I will be introducing it again in August 21st to the 25th.
Okay.
And so the first 4 days we'll go through a lot of information that'll help. And then once you're in that warrior stance, we're going to meet on day 5 for a Zoom live Q&A where we can really talk about it some more. And this will happen in the Spring into Action, Build on Your Magnificence group.
And is it for anybody, men, women, just entrepreneurs? Who's the target audience here?
Everybody that finds themselves worrying and really want to get a handle on it. Everyone.
Yeah, we all worry. All of us worry.
Yes.
Stop it before it gets bad, right?
Yes.
So we will drop the link to sign up for Deb's Warrior to Warrior Challenge after this. So come back to the comments. Deb, thank you for this wonderful conversation. Thank you for sharing. With my husband not being well, I thought I had done research and I knew everything, but I learned a crap ton of stuff today from you. This was phenomenal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. You're phenomenal. You are magnificent. You are magnificent. And thank you for showing us that we all can be too. Anything you want to share as we wrap up? Any kind of final words?
I am honored to be in here chatting with you about this subject, which is really close to my heart. I care about it. I hate that everyone out there who is stuck in a worrying state on a regular basis is dealing with it and doesn't necessarily know how to shift that. And everywhere they've turned, they've followed the same rules and got nowhere. So I appreciate the opportunity to offer that help to anybody that wants it.
You help me. You help,
and it's free. The course is free, by the way.
Yeah. So if worrying is something that's on your mind and you want to get it under control and you want to turn into the warrior that you are, sign up for Deb's challenge. It's a free challenge. And Deb is definitely part of our group. She's in in the membership as well. So those of you that are in there, take advantage of having Deb as a collaborator. I know, because I know her well, if you've got questions or need anything, she will be there to support you. So Deb, thank you. Everybody else, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. For those of you that have some Friday left, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.